Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about this amazing piece of equipment called the kettle. But first, if you're interested in detective stories, look into the description. It's the first part of a book I wrote of an 11-part detective series. So if you're interested, just take a quick look. So this is the kettle. As you can see, it's just a two-part sort of camping stove, and the beauty about this is just one amazing piece of equipment, in my opinion. If you perhaps can see, it's kind of cone shaped on the inside. That's because the mantle around the inside is actually for boiling water, which is where this part comes in, and it works because it's a cone shape in the middle with a vent hole on top of it. You can get it a similar effect like a rocket stove. So I'm going to demonstrate you how do you say this, how how little wood you actually need to start this. I can take all this wood in my hands, and I'm going to boil this not only this water, but you will also notice that on top you can try to cook on top of it. But for that you will need something to put it on. You can buy from Kelly Kettle a piece that you can put on top of it, but I asked a friend to make me these two things, which is just like a cross shape, and it has funny notches that it will fit right on top of it, so you can place your pan or pot or your little metal mug or whatever you can fit on this, and that will work just fine. So you can boil water and cook at the same time. So what I want to mention is, if you're going to make one of these things yourself, make sure it's high enough so that the heat and the smoke can escape from this hole. So now I'm going to show you how little wood you need. First I'm going to make a fire, because it will only take a few minutes, and I will try to make some conversation to pass some of the time, because this will not take a lot of time. It's actually, like I said, works like a rocket stove, and that way you will not only need less fuel during camping, hiking, or bug out situation, but this is also very perfect, almost more perfect, for a bug in situation. Make a fire. The wind is not blowing in the wrong direction, of course. It's already starting to burn. You see, there is a hole in the beneath it. In this compartment you can make a fire on this, so you can even cook a fire on top of this, like a pan or a grill or something, if you got some coals left after the burning. But this part beneath it, it's for to put small pieces of fuel, like just twigs or small pieces of wood that you can find, and you put them right here beneath it. So I'm gonna put this right on top of it. So now we are at 3 minutes 45. No, now we're at 4 minutes, and now we will start to see how long it will take till this starts to boil. There is a green top on this, and it has the same thing like one of those tea kettles. When it starts to boil, it will start to whistle, and that way, yeah, that way you will know when it's ready. So I'm gonna put some extra wood inside of it. There's also an opportunity to put some wood on top of it if you want to create a larger fire or more quickly. And while it's boiling, while it's starting to boil, I will tell you about some first of the benefits of this. First of all, it has some very good benefits. One of those benefits is that's one of those things. I always attract smoke for some reason. The benefits are, you can take this wooden thing is not resting against the metal that will get warm. So even when it's down, it can never hit the hot metal. So you can always grab this even without gloves. And another thing is, when you're going to pick it up, take the boiler off, you can use this chain to use it to, without burning your hands, try to pour the water from the spout, which I will demonstrate within a few when it starts to boil. Let's see. Yeah, it starts to burn real good. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but the flames are already getting this high. So you see, because it's a cone shape and the air gets through it, it will burn very efficiently like a rocket stove. The flames are almost getting on top of this. One thing that you need to notice is never plug this without a way that it can vent when it starts to boil, because otherwise then the water can expand and blow up. So always use the recommended knob, or take it off if you do not have one. Do not put a piece of cork in it or something else that will block off the compartment of the water. So while it's still boiling, I would advise, I'm going to tell you some of the drawbacks. One of the drawbacks is it cooks or boils way too fast, and yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem if you want to make a lot of meals, because this is something that you will use to make something very fast. It's not a slow camping fire that you can sing Kumbaya around. No, when this starts to boil, it really starts to boil, and that way you have to make the most of the heat that you will generate with it. So that's why you can boil water and cook dinner at the same time. Okay, starting to get a roaring fire. Going to put the wood in this hole. There we go. See how the fire, and that's one other thing why I said that you need something a little bit higher so the smoke can escape. The moment this really starts to roar, there will be less smoke. If you use a lot more of how do you say this, wood. Oh, it's already boiling. As you can see, steam is boiling out of it. I'm gonna take it out. So, as you can see, now the water is boiling, and you can I have still enough wood. How much wood do I have? Ooh, I have still enough wood left to make a good meal with a crock pot or a pan. I would advise to use one of those Dutch, how do you say this, iron cast pans or pots, because this thing will get very hot, and pans like aluminum can get really hot. But to get back to the point that can be disadvantages, it's you have to work very quickly with it. But that's already a good point, because you need less wood. I just showed the amount of wood that I held in my hand, and I still got this much wood left from it. So even with that, it still boils. It has boiled the water, and it still has a roaring fire to this part. And even when the most fire and when the most wood has been burned up, you can just take the top part of the kettle away, and you can still roast something on top of the still how do you say it, burning coals. So that's also a good thing. Another benefit is it's very light. This thing can how do you say this, in I don't know, in how do you say this in not metric, whatever. This thing will is not weighing even more than, I would say, between 300 and 400 grams. That's not much, and it's real steel actually. It's made of iron. It's welded very good, so it's very sturdy, and the rivets are not through the metal. So that means it's even more enclosed, without the possibility that there will be leaks or some damage coming from rivets. It's all welded on the outside, which makes it already yet again fantastic. It's still giving a flame until here. So yeah, that's like I said, an amazing test. Oh, you can still see the fire going through this. And another benefit is, if you're in a bucking situation and you live close to how do you say this, salt water, or in a, like if you want to go on a boat, or on if you live by a river with salt water or the coast, this thing, if you connect a hose to it and you catch up the condensation, because this boils really hard, you can catch it and you can desalt the seawater or salt water. So that's already a good thing to not only get drinkable water from salt water, but it's also a way to get salt during a long-term disaster scenario. So that way you can get your own salt from the water in the rivers or the coast if you live nearby. So another drawback I have noticed while using this is watch out where you put this when you start to boil this. Always put it on something, on dirt or stone, because this thing gets so hot that everything beneath it starts to burn. Yesterday I tried it out with some friends, and yeah, we put it on a big piece of hardwood, and the hardwood just started to burn from making contact from on below. So hot it will get. So that's something you need to watch out if you're going to take it onto a hike or a bug out situation, that you do not burn grass or wood in the forest and you will start a forest fire. You do not want that. So that's something you need to do to watch out with this. And yeah, it's very cheap in comparison to a lot of stoves. It's very portable, lightweight. It's from what I've gathered already, it's made out of very durable material. So I love this kettle. It's very good. I will now start to, yeah. Now there are only coals left, so the fire just stopped burning till here. Now there are coals left. I'm going to show you how you pour it out without the use of gloves or something else. First of all, I'm going to take off this, because that's a little bit loose. So what you do is you take this and you can take the chain and you can start to, like you can see, start to pour without the need of gloves. So yeah, that's another thing you have to be very quickly, because otherwise the water will be boiled very fast. How do you say this? The steam will get the water quickly out, so you have to pour it out immediately into a container, otherwise it will start to vaporize very quickly. If you can perhaps see, it is all that is left from the burning. It's still very hot, so I can still barbecue some shit around this. So yeah, that's a very good. Or I can put some stones in it to put underground if you have a cold winter night and you need to warm up the ground beneath your tent or something. So that's also a good thing. Never touch this metal because it's freaking hot. It's almost blue from being hot, actually. So yeah. So as you can see, the Kelly kettle, a very good piece of survival equipment. I would advise get it now while you still can. It's multifunctional as fuck, and yeah, it's very cheap, it's very handy, like I said, multifunctional. I am just in love with this thing, and I will use it very often. And it's very, how do you say this, energy friendly. So I would advise to get one of these while you still can. There are different sizes in this. This is the 1.2 liter version. So there are smaller ones and there are even bigger ones. So I would advise to get one in the middle. It's still big enough for a bug out, and it's even sufficient enough for a bug-in situation to get hot water with a minimal amount of wood or a fuel that you will use. Yeah, that's another thing. You can use different types of fuel in this. I would not advise to use something like chemical fuels, but it's possible. But I would not recommend it. Or you can burn some other pieces of wood or wood leftovers that you have. Everything that burns, you can fit within this. So that's perhaps one of the disadvantages. You can only use small pieces of wood, but hey, it's just very handy during a bug out where you can just gather some twigs just in a small bag and you can take them with you, easy going, easy fire. So yeah, I will close off this video because yeah, it's I can only say this is one hell of a survival gear. Get it now while you can. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, look into the description for my book, leave a like, a comment, and if you know another thing that you can use the Kelly kettle for that I did not mention yet, please do. I'm already eager to learn this, and if there is something that I don't know yet, or a little survival hack that you can use the Kelly kettle for, please let me know it. Thank you for watching, and cheers.